Hello, this is Warhammer Workshop, and here is part 1 of my Adeptus Mechanicus Imperial Knight diorama. In this first part I will be going through the design process and preparation. Part 2 will be in the near future and will deal with the build itself. I want there to be a total of 3 parts, however, I will do my best to go through the entire diorama step by step. There are a few stages of building dioramas. The first is the conception and subsequent designs. First, you need to form the concept within your mind. Secondly, you need to make said concept apparent, either as digital or hard copy. And at the very least, for the second step, you need to gather environmental input, namely reference photos, such as the ones on screen now. They can range from the original products, amateur builds, or even cinematics or conceptual art. You are really just looking for the elements and the compositional aspects. By this point, you may have created upwards of 70% of the diorama in your mind, but now you need to put your plan to actual paper. I use the digital format myself. On screen I am showing my rough design of the diorama. It's rather moot at this juncture whether it truly represents the final build, because as I said, this is a rough design. It's so you can gauge the spatial requirements and the composition rather than anything else. Another dimension to the process is lore. In my case, as you can see, I created my own house, High Conora, and created my own knight, Gagnon Fedric. It's a sub-house of House Tyrannus, and as you can see, in essence, it's the Crane Knight house, and the knight is the Crane god. I suppose I ought to buy some containers to complete the scene. I imagine that these knights are not warriors but builders and haulers, as always placing great emphasis on the pilots of these knights, which too I have named Crack King Cole. So then, beyond these confines, you can imagine that this knight, for whatever reason, is not fit for combat, and therefore he is used simply as a building tool by a singular or small enterprise. There's countless directions to go in. This is just the direction I'm currently going. One of the most important early steps if you're planning on going down this route is to create your own colour scheme for the new house and concept you have created. As you can see, I have used a standard knight as a visual, and coupled with the iffy images, the synergy is lacking, but the final product will be fitted best I can and thus will have continuity. Now, I find it's important to know what you are going to be doing as far as the plinth/board and border are concerned, at least in part. However, you are to actually build the board and border towards the end of the project, unless it's pre-made or you've measured everything exactly. The main reason for this is so you don't make the board too small or too big. I'm going to be making the board and border from scratch, which I will go through in the final part of this series. So moving on then, we come to the design of the knight, this being another visual where you have changed the colours and noted what changes are to be made, that is to say, your colour scheme and notations. You can see my rough colour scheme on screen now, sticking fairly close to the House Tyrannus. Then you need to figure out the colours of every other element and what materials will be used, and gather/buy all the materials and equipment you are going to require, at least for the early stages of the project. Any serious modeller will tell you that the environment is vital, and judges of dioramas will mark you harshly if you haven't given any thought to the plot. Now, on to the preparation, that is, of your workstation, not the model itself. As you can see on screen, my paint station is cleaned and ready for this project. Everything is on hand or correctly stored, and I bought a brand new A1 cutting mat. Other than a few further points of interest, this is where the pre-journey, as it were, ends, and where the unboxing of the plastic begins. So that is all for this first part regarding the early process of my Adeptus Mechanicus Imperial Knight diorama. In part 2 I will be going through the build itself. Thank you for watching.